Is your yeast infection chronic? There are plenty of people who suffer from a yeast infection, and almost all women are going to have one at some point in their life that needs taken care of. There are times, however, whenever yeast infections begin to recur regularly, and they may even get to the point where they can be considered chronic. What is it that makes a yeast infection get to this point, and what is there that we can do about it? After all, many of us with chronic yeast infections have simply given up on ever doing anything about them at all. In order to understand why the yeast infection became chronic, you need to first understand why you get a yeast infection. Yeast is present all around us at all times, and it is also in our body many times. For the most part, a healthy body is able to fend off the yeast by using some of the good bacteria that is present in it. It is only whenever this bacteria begins to disappear from our body that the yeast is able to get a foothold. This typically occurs whenever we experience long periods of sickness, or perhaps when we are taking antibiotics for some kind of other infection. What is the first thing that most people do whenever they get a yeast infection? They run to the drugstore and get cream that promises to be able to take care of the problem within just a few days. Although it does a good job of helping us to be more comfortable, it is not really taking care of the problem. What it is doing is reducing the amount of yeast in our body, but it is leaving the stronger yeast behind. Whenever it grows again, and it will, it becomes a stronger infection that is more difficult to treat. With each successive yeast infection, it will become stronger until it becomes a super infection. If you have reached this point, where your yeast infections are chronic, you can try treating the condition naturally. The easiest way for you to do this is to apply all natural yogurt to the area and to eat yogurt every day. You might also want to consider drinking some apple cider vinegar daily, as well as eating a clove of garlic. These natural foods will help to bring your body back into balance so that it can naturally fight the infection instead of you treating it at the drugstore.